episode of 2 Goals, 1 Cup. Welcome back. Finally, the international break is over.
Thank the Lord.
Golly. I've never been a fan of the international break. Unless it's like a World Cup or Euros, I don't really care.
No, the worst ones are like September and October, like right when the teams start gelling, or they've been training together for the preseason.
Yeah.
They get into a rhythm of games, and then international break.
Yes, exactly. And then there's always that fear of like injury.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Goetze played for Bayern Munich? And he was on fire, like just on fire. And then that international break happened. He scored, and then he got injured directly after, and he was never the same after that.
I think there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into Mario Götze not living up to his expectations. But
he was the chosen one. He was supposed to bring balance to the force.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, welcome back. How did you feel about Bayer Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich? I know for me, when I texted you, I was like, this feels like a Champions League game.
Oh, yeah. I think Leverkusen has finally shown everyone that they're a legit team. It's not, they're not getting lucky under Alonso. They are a good team.
Yeah.
And I think they showed that throughout the game.
Yeah. And before we even get too much into the game analysis, can we talk quickly about the ESPN commentators?
They suck.
They are horrible.
The ESPN commentators aren't the ones commentating during the game, though.
No.
Right? They switch it over to Sky Sports or something, and it's so much more enjoyable. And then during the breaks, it goes back to ESPN, and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I sometimes mute the channel. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I remember just like listening to him, and I was just like, this guy, what? How is he now?
It's funny because the Morales, right?
Yeah, Morales. Yeah.
He said a couple things after the game that were true, but we'll get into that. But
anybody can get lucky though. Like all commentating is like in America that I've noticed. Now, what the boy need to do? If he shoot the ball, he gonna score.
Yeah.
Like that's it. It's common sense.
All he has to do is put the ball in the net, and it's a goal.
And then it's a goal. See, that's how soccer works. Am I right, fellas? And then everybody's like, yeah.
Yeah. They're not my favorites, but
no, but anyway, the game.
Yeah. Started off good, right? Harry Kane scores in 7th minute.
Yeah, and like if you were watching like super close, you saw that Kim and Kane like communicated like right before, and Kane told Kim that he was going to the back, and then Kim was like, "Okay, you go to the back." And he did. I love that little communication. Like, you could see the focus in Kim's eyes. Like, that was so great to see.
Yeah.
And then Kane went to the back, and then, he did what Kane does.
Yeah. I mean, he's lucky Kim missed the flick on. It hit a Leverkusen player, but, him being there is what led to that goal.
Definitely.
And like you said, that communication is what led to that goal. And that's something that Harry Kane brings to Bayern Munich, right? The communication that he has, the leadership that he has.
Yeah.
Telling players where to go, where he's going to go, where he wants the ball, that kind of stuff. We're 4 match days into the season. Harry Kane has 4 goals.
Yeah.
I can't complain.
He could have more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He could have had more.
Yeah.
What do you think Lewandowski would have? Because when he did corners, when it was on the corner, he wouldn't do back post very often.
No, but he would be right at the penalty spot. And Lewandowski's very, very good in the air.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I mean, it all depends on who's taking the corner too.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
But I'm happy that Kimmich wasn't taking any of those corners. Yeah, man. Golly.
And we looked more dangerous on him. And
yes.
That's a crazy thing.
I hope that sticks.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Leroy Sané's out swingers. But his in swingers, I mean, it's Taylor built for that. But his out swingers are
his corners period are way more dangerous.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you hit it with pace.
Yeah,
it gives the defenders less time to react, and Kimmich is hitting it 75 meters up in the sky. Oh, yeah. The defenders can steady themselves, get underneath the ball, wait for it to come down, and then jump.
We can talk about Kimmich in a little bit because I have my thoughts, as you know, about Kimmich. But I think the first 20 minutes, it was the the interlocking play, like how we were 1-2 flicks, tricks, it just looked beautiful. It was like, okay, cool, we finally got it.
That's the best 15 minutes of soccer or football I've seen Bayern Munich play this year.
It was beautiful. Yeah. Like even Müller was freaking flicking.
Yeah, chance after chance after chance that we did not finish, and that's what cost us the game at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the right where the game changed was that free kick that they got.
Yeah, Müller, I don't know why he challenged right there. He didn't have to. The ball wasn't going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could have not stuck his boot out. He could have just stood there, right? And then nothing would have happened.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, Müller has a right to go for that ball.
Yes.
It's just he was late. So you saw the player's foot go up, and Müller came late and actually hit the player's foot.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's a silly challenge. You don't need to do that. His back was to the goal and everything, but at the same time, he has a right to go for that ball, and it's an unfortunate foul, right? There's no intent behind it. He didn't mean to do it.
You got to think about where you're at on the field, though. You know what I'm saying? Like that kid in the center circle is fine, right?
Yeah.
But if you're that close, I'm not making that challenge. I'm just standing because I know that ball's not going anywhere.
I'm just standing because I'm old and lazy.
I don't want to pull a hamstring.
Exactly. But no, and so up steps Grimaldo, and he hits a fucking stunner.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, I wasn't either. I mean, that was a perfect free kick. It's
when he stepped up though, like when he remember when Cristiano Ronaldo was getting, popular for his free kicks.
Yeah,
the 3 that he made, but his free kicks. But I noticed that he does like that straight leg thing, and Robert Lewandowski does that too, and so. When I saw him do that straight leg, I was like, uh-oh. Like, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Because I remember as a kid trying to learn that straight leg kick. Oh, my God, just so I can dip and all that stuff. Yeah, when he stepped up, there was no question in his mind what he was going to do.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's a great distance to shoot from. It's not right on the top of the 18, but it's enough to get that topspin on the ball and get that dip in there. And unfortunately, nothing Sven Ulreich could do about it. He was pretty close to it, but...
Sven was.
It's just a good free kick. There's nothing you can do about it.
No,
there's certain goals. Yeah, there's certain goals that are scored, and it don't matter who the goalie is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Neuer makes that save either.
Yeah.
Just the pace of the ball, the dip on it. It was a perfect free kick.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Nothing we could really do about it, but man, after we gave up that goal...
Did you see Sane move his hand?
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Well,
my God.
Because everybody respects each other. There's respect in
professionals.
football, right? And everybody knows that's a good free kick.
Yeah.
Not much we could do about it, but what we can do about it is not play horrible after, which is exactly what Bayern Munich did.
Yeah, man. The next 20 minutes, it's like we let Leverkusen back in the game.
Oh, it wasn't even that they dominated the game after that. From the 20th minute to the 40th minute, it was just... Our midfield was non-existent. Our defenders were just passing to nobody. I mean, it was. We went from the best 15 minutes we've seen Bayern Munich play to the worst 15, 20 minutes that I've seen Bayern Munich play. This year so far.
Yeah, it was holes.
It was like passing around in a Sunday league, like professionals against a Sunday league. It looked like every pass was 2 feet. They're going in winning every single ball. We just were like panicked and shook, and
I don't know what happens when we get scored on. It's like we like lose it, and it's like we mentally shut off.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have lasted 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe a few minutes. I can understand that, but I mean it was. And Thomas Tuchel's on the sideline yelling. Everybody's getting at each other. It just wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good second half of the first half.
And maybe that's what happens when you have like a team, right? A club that is so high pressure all the time. I mean, Harry Kane has talked about it recently about how, like in Tottenham, if you lose a game, it's not the end of the world. But Bayern Munich, every single game, you have to win it. And so that amount of pressure. And so maybe they feel like they're under a lot of pressure. Thomas Tuchel probably feels like he's under a lot of pressure, right? And then, the players probably feel like they're under a lot of pressure because of what happened in the national team, what happened, all that stuff. And so I think that that's probably adds to why they're nitpicking at each other. And then plus, I feel like with Tuchel saying that he wants a 6, right, all the time, saying that our team lacks this and that. You have 2 players that are playing in those positions, and then so they're like feeling the pressure, like, dang, as soon as whoever we buy gets in, that's it for me. You know what I'm saying? So there's probably that pressure too, and on top of the competitiveness that the Bayern Munich players already have. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot. I don't really see any real leaders of men in our team right now. We don't have that calming presence. I think we have a bunch of people that can lead by example, but as far as like grabbing somebody by the shirt and be like, hey, get it together, get your head in the game type of deal, we don't have anybody like that right now.
Yeah. I mean, the players are always under pressure. That's nothing new, right? That's Bayern Munich to a T. We are consistently under pressure.
Yeah.
To perform, not necessarily during a game, but just to perform, right? Mm-hmm.
And favorites everywhere, every time.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, the pressure does come with the territory, but at the same time, there's no excuse for how poorly we played. Like the pressure is going to stay the same regardless, right? But we played horribly.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it wasn't like our midfielders were doing everything they could. They weren't there. Mm-hmm. Like there's a picture floating around Twitter that, it was our back 4 defenders and then nobody from them to half. Like where were our center mids that game? And it could have just been a picture that someone posted to try to explain the point, and it was, not entirely the true picture, mm-hmm. but it's the lack of midfield that we had during that game there's no excuse for it. There's nothing else to say about it. There's no excuse for that. And really that's what kept us under that pressure that Leverkusen was putting out. Once we regained control from like 40 to halftime, it was like a Jekyll and Hyde Bayern Munich, where they were really, really good for 15 minutes, and they were really, really bad for 20 to 40 minutes, and then from 40 minutes to halftime, they were good again. It's that we got to limit that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that once we get scored on, our players, our midfielders especially, resort to that old mentality of, all right, everybody forward, like, you know what I'm saying, so we can score right away. And I think that's what happened. I believe Kimmich slows down the play, like that article said, like a long time ago, or whatever. I feel like he does. I feel like when he's not in the game, it's a much more fluid, right? There's no, when he's gonna do that dumb turn thing that he does. I hate when he does.
We talk about it every week.
Yeah, like when he's gonna do it.
Yeah,
he does it every time. He doesn't contribute defensively in the midfield, and he slows down the play because of his incessant need to have the ball all the time. He's no daggone Xavi.
Yeah.
And I know that's one of his idols or whatever, but that's not his style of play. Right. I get that he contributes. I get it. I know for all of the people that love Kimmich, I'm not saying I hate him, but I just think he's in the wrong position. I do not like that he is in the midfield. I've never liked that he's in the midfield. I just don't think that he's a midfield player. He is a right back that is really good with his feet and has good vision. That's what he is to me.
I mean, I'm gonna disagree a little bit. Kimmich had the most chances created last year in the Bundesliga, so it's not, it's one of those things that the first part you said is right. Yeah. When we give up a goal, they want to push forward and get that goal back, right? So they can regain control of the game.
Yeah.
And the midfield can be frustrating at times, but I don't necessarily think it's entirely their fault. Where I really think that Bayern Munich struggles in transition is our wingers, specifically Serge Gnabry's side, the left side.
I'm sick of all the Serge Gnabry hate.
It's not even hate. He's not good.
Yeah, what?
He's not. He walked that entire game.
He didn't walk the entire game.
He did nothing. He provided nothing going forward, and this is what I'm talking about, right? Kimmich or Goretzka gets the ball in the middle, right? As a winger, you would either look for a long ball down the byline, cut inside, right, or come back and show for the ball,
or make the wide in the field so you push the.
That's what I mean, on the byline.
Yeah.
But Gnabry just stands there. Like he wasn't doing anything. And
he had a chance within like the first like couple minutes of the game.
I'm talking about when we play poorly.
Oh, when we play poorly. Okay.
The wingers don't do anything. You know, Sané was also the same, although this year he has shown a different Leroy Sané, right?
He checks back sometimes.
Right, yeah. But Gnabry doesn't. Yeah. I would not be surprised if Matthias Tel starts midweek against United over Gnabry if Kingsley Coman's still hurt.
Yeah, he was training today. But I think that, I don't know, I love Tel. I just love that he's like a super sub, basically. Because his energy and determination is exactly what we need at 60th minute after, because they're tired, they're gassed.
Yeah, but what about from the 20th to the 60th minute where we also suck?
Yeah, I mean, but then again, like if you sub him in, or if he starts him in, and then you sub him out for Gnabry, then what? Is Gnabry going to bring what Tel brings in the 60th minute?
I mean, if Tuchel tells him to actually put in effort.
You don't think Tuchel tells him to drop back?
If he's not doing it, he should be benched.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, it's just it wasn't a pretty.
I think
60 minutes of football.
I think with the argument for Kimmich, it's like one of those things where if you're good at your job, right? If you're good enough at your job, people kind of sweep whatever you don't do good under the rug, right? So you bring up, every time I bring up Kimmich, you always tell me like, yo, but we remember last season and you always do that every single time. But it's like, okay, yes, I get it, that's awesome, but he's given up a lot of goals. A lot of counterattacks have happened because of him. And it's because of that dumb turn or his lack of vision, or he wants, not lack of vision, but, you know, he holds on, he wants the ball too much. Yeah. I do not believe, you heard it here first, folks. I do not believe that Kimmich needs to be, I think his best position is right back.
Sure. I don't disagree. I have a hard time placing the blame entirely on Kimmich when I see him looking for that pass, but nobody is open.
What do you mean?
Other than going backwards to defenders, our left wing and our right wing and our central attacking mid are stagnant. They are standing still. Or they are walking shoulder to shoulder with the defender. Every single time. Every single time. And then what we do is we go back, right? So it goes from Kimmich, it goes out to Davies, or it goes to Mazraoui or Lime or whoever's playing right back. Our right back and left back turn, hit it back to Upamecano or De Ligt or Kim, whoever's playing center back, and then it goes around the horn, and then it goes back into Kimmich, and then Kimmich is again looking for that pass. Nothing's open. So what does he do? He goes back out to the left or right back, and then they go back to defender, and it's just a cyclical thing. Part of it is probing, and I understand the premise of probing, and we're trying to figure out where the weak spots are. Excuse me, but it's not. Kimmich gets caught in possession sometimes. I would say majority of the times.
Okay.
Like when he gets caught in possession, it's because people aren't moving and there's no open pass, not because he's not a good player. Like that's how I look at it.
I'm not saying he's not a good player. I think that he's a great player.
Yeah.
And okay, to your point, there's not enough rotation, not enough checking in. There's not enough. So that's what you're saying. There's
just not enough movement from our forwards.
Okay.
Like Harry Kane is dropping so far back to get the ball, and it's like that should be our central attacking mid. It's almost like having two in the middle isn't enough. We need to bring one more back. Mm-hmm. Like we should have two center mids and one center defensive mid instead of a center attacking mid.
Oh, okay.
And I think that might help us gain control of the midfield.
Yeah, I think There's that hole between the midfield and the front three. I was gonna say four. Front three. I can see. Do you think that Paulinho, is that his name?
Paulinho.
You think Paulinho will help bridge that gap and give Kimmich and Goretzka?
Well, that's if we sign him, right? Because he went ahead and signed a contract for Fulham.
With Fulham, was that the end of his contract?
No, so his original contract was until 2027 or 2028. It's one of the two, and then he added another year to it. So there wasn't like a reason for him to necessarily extend his contract, which is what's kind of weird about it. But I understand his position too. He's saying, I know Bayern Munich want me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go to the board at Fulham and say, give me a new contract. I want more wages, so that if the move to Bayern Munich fails in either January or the summer, then he's still good. Like he's still gonna get paid at Fulham.
Do you think we're gonna have to pay a lot more?
That's up to Fulham, right?
Yes.
I mean,
they have all this time to figure out a replacement.
Sure, I would argue, if it is true that we had a agreed upon fee of $65 million or 65 million pounds.
Oh. Yeah.
Then I would hope that they stick to that, but there's nothing that says they have to.
Yeah.
Right? It's a gentleman's agreement. They can either stick with it. They probably won't. They'll probably try to squeeze another 5 or 10 million out of Bayern. And I totally expect that, but at the same time,
especially if they're trying to get McTominay or whoever else.
They could.
Hoiberg.
He's terrible, but they could sign him.
He's terrible.
They could sign him for like 20 million. Though.
Nah, that's not gonna happen. They're selling them to not a rival, but a Premier League team, right?
Yeah, but Manchester United don't want him.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does. They'll let him go. I think they'd let him go for 20 or 30 million, honestly, but. There's no way he's worth 65.
You remember when he was like, the hype was there? Like, this dude was going to be...
There's always hype around.
Yeah. You score once.
Prem players.
You score once.
He's doing phenomenal in Euro qualifying. He has like 6 goals. He's like tied for the most for Scotland. So it's like...
Hey, man.
I don't know. But yeah, so... other than the midfield issues...
What do you think about the defense? What did I tell you? De Ligt as a number 6.
Yeah, I mean, De Ligt as a 6, it didn't really do anything. He came in for a quick cameo, and that was about it. So
I'm just saying that this is going to be the move. They're going to try to put him as a number 6.
And they're going to play around with it for the next 3 months, and then they're going to realize that he is not a 6, and then we're going to sign someone.
I don't think that he. I hope that the stuff between Tuchel and him isn't true as far as like him saying that he's not his type of defender. I hope that he's not.
I don't think he said that, did he?
No, like they were saying that he's not playing the way that Tuchel wants him to play.
Fast. The whole team is like that. So it's like,
yeah, but like why single him out?
Well, because we're slow in transition. That's what it is. We get the ball and then we jog and then we hand it out to the left back or the right back and then we go backwards and then we go into the midfield and then we go backwards and then we try to go to the wing and then the winger goes backwards. It's just it's so repetitive and it's so easy to see.
Yeah,
like a defender doesn't have to put in as much effort because he knows as soon as he puts a little bit of pressure on players like Serge Gnabry, they're just going to turn and pass it back.
Yeah, Serge does go back
a lot.
Coman doesn't.
No, but that's why Coman is a better player in my opinion.
And neither does Tell, because Tell will take him on.
Yeah, and Sane doesn't necessarily take him down the byline, but he'll cut in.
Yeah, he'll cut in,
and that's pulling players, out of position. Like with Gnabry, it's the same thing over and over and over. He's going to do what he always does. He's going to put in a couple braces before the winter break, and then we're going to be like, oh my God, Serge Gnabry's back in 2020 form. And
prisoners of the moment.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm hoping we don't do with the center defensive mid either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, it was a frustrating display.
Yeah. I mean, that Tell when he came in, he definitely injected some light. And so did Musiala.
Mm-hmm.
I think that moving forward, we need to start putting Tell in maybe a little sooner.
50 minutes, halftime.
Halftime.
Hey, here you go, Serge. You got 45 minutes. Show me what you got. And if he's not doing anything, we got to pull him out.
Yeah.
It's we can't continue having them on until the 65th minute. But like you said, Tell is doing his role as a super sub so good right now.
Yeah, he really is.
His assist for Goretzka's goal, shout out to Goretzka, because I think he's probably been one of our best players so far this year. But yeah, that was all Tell's goal. That
would have been crazy if he didn't make it, if he just rocketed it over.
Yeah, we'd probably be having a different conversation,
or
at least
out.
Yeah, at least Bayern Twitter would have a different conversation, right? But yeah, his ability to take on a good defender, get him to the byline, and then have the awareness to cut it back across the penalty spot. It was good to see. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him playing. And that's why I think he should play more. He's good.
He definitely is. Conrad Limar, he put in a freaking shift.
He always does. He is a machine that just keeps running and running and running and running.
And when he played in the midfield, I felt like it was a lot more fluid because of how fast everything was going.
Yeah, well, that's the weird thing, right? Is I fully understand that if you put players with fresh legs on at the 60th minute, they're going to look faster than
Lionel was there the whole game.
Right, I'm talking about the Bayern subs that we kind of going back to that. We just look better with Matthias Tell and Chupo in than we did for the 60 minutes.
Chupo on the line when he was doing all that fancy footwork. I was like, at first, I was like, who is that? I did not expect.
But that's what I'm saying. We should not look better with our subs. We should look good because this is Bayern and our standards are high, so all our players are good, right? Yeah. But it's just like our just the way our attack looks going forward when they're in. It's just so much more fluid.
Yes,
you know what I mean. So it begs the question, like, do you risk upsetting someone like Thomas Muller, who didn't provide anything that game?
No.
By putting in Chupo as a second striker or something that shakes up the formation.
I would like to see Chupo and Harry Kane. I would like to see that because Harry Kane is very good at holding up the ball.
Yeah. Harry Kane's a phenomenal striker. He's going to score a lot of goals for Bayern, but this past game he just looks so isolated and slow. Yeah, I don't know if it's heavy legs from the internationals, but I mean, he looks slow.
It's like his mind starts running before his legs.
Yeah. And that's fine, right? Because you don't necessarily need to be an incredibly fast striker, and as long as you're in the right spot at the right time. But like, it's just like his tackles weren't good, his turns weren't good, except for the one they pulled him back, got a yellow card for. But I mean, it just wasn't like, he just seemed slow, like you said. It's just slow.
Yeah, and that goal, man, I would have thought that, not that he didn't score, but basically 1-on-1 with the keeper. I thought he was gonna chip. I thought he was gonna go for the chip, and that would have been.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it kind of at the beginning, right? With all the missed chances that we had. I mean, he did hit it right at the goalie, but also, maybe, I don't know what they put in the water in the other teams for their goalies, but it just seems like every single time it's an important game, their goalie plays amazing every single time. And then when it's a close game for us is when our goalie makes mistakes. You know what I mean? So, hopefully that'll change. Neuer should be coming back soon. I don't think he's going to play against Manchester United, but
yeah, I don't think that's the game for him to play.
Yeah,
I definitely think he needs to maybe warm up against who is it that we have before Oktoberfest? Bochum or something like that. Let me see.
We have a Pokal game coming up too. I think that's going to be his first game back against Münster.
Oh yeah, that's true. But yeah, for Neuer though, yeah, it could be that game or the Bochum game, because Bochum is not. They're 12th right now.
Yeah,
not anything to write home about.
Right. So yeah, I mean, maybe Neuer fixes that. Maybe he's the leadership that we've been missing too.
He does control the back line.
Oh yeah. He's very vocal, things like that. Sven is not. Yeah. I'm sure he's vocal, but he's not. He's not commanding like Neuer is. I'll put it like that.
Sven does his job though, man.
He does. I'm not. He's been a loyal backup for many years.
I don't think that he would have stopped. What was the Bayer Leverkusen? It has a funny name, like Face or something like that. What is it called? There we go. Boniface.
Yeah.
If those shots were on target, I don't think.
Yeah. So but that's the luck of the game sometimes. I mean,
that dude he's a monster.
He is good. Like, he is a legit striker. He's going to be as good as I think Osimhen for Napoli is. Yeah. He's same kind of player.
He's big, just like
big,
physical,
fast.
like man.
Can get in, make space for himself. I mean, he rifled a few over.
That was crazy. I was like. Yeah, Upa, I'm glad that he was just as physical with him, man, because if it would have been any other defender, I don't think that would have happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he missed a lot of chances, but
We missed a lot of chances.
so did we. And so what it really came down to was Alphonso Davies fouling Jonas Hoffman in the box. Well, did you think that was a foul?
No, I wouldn't have called it a foul.
I don't.
Even after VAR, I would not have called it a foul, just because he put his body in front of him.
But you know what he's doing.
Yeah, you know what he's doing. He's looking for that.
He invited the contact.
Yeah,
and then as soon as he felt it, he fell over.
Yeah, like it was a tangle of limbs. That's what it was.
Yeah, and this is what frustrated me. Right, is actually made me angry. Really angry. I have no idea what that ref is doing. Yeah. That entire performance by the referee and the VAR team was dog shit.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Musiala dribbling, right? Into the box, clear contact, not even a sniff of VAR.
Yeah.
Why? How is there not? We saw one replay for 3 seconds and that was it. Mm-hmm. Move along here, nothing to see. And I'm not going to say there's a conspiracy and that the league's rigged and all that stuff, but it's abysmal refereeing. And then even for the Hoffman one, he checked VAR, the video, for 0.3 seconds. Yeah. He ran over there just to show that he was running over there. Mm-hmm. That decision had already been made before he even went and looked at it. Yeah. And I agree. I've seen it called and I've seen it not called. I personally wouldn't call it either, right? Because the attacker is inviting that contact and then flopping after the contact's made. Exactly. And that's why it's not a foul to me. But if you call one, right, then by default Musiala should have been a PK. Yeah. And that changes the whole dynamic of the game. Now, that's if everything, it's a here nor there thing because Bayern missed a bunch of chances. Leverkusen missed a bunch of chances. Yeah, I know, he's so good. It could have changed the game though, and that's what's frustrating me. It's not that one was called and the other. That pisses me off. But what's more frustrating is how inconsistent refereeing has been so far this year, just in the Bundesliga in general. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those. You get paid a lot of money to be a referee. The laws of the game are pretty clear. And then the precedences that have been set over years is also pretty set in stone. So it's just inconsistent. And it's not just Bayern Munich games. It's just, I watch a lot of Bundesliga and it's like the referees have gone a step down in every league. It's in the EPL as well.
Yeah, but I mean, they can't see everything.
No, but that's the point of VAR, right? Is to look for that stuff behind that the referee might not see. Yeah. And so for it to not even go, for Musiala to not even go to VAR, for the referee to look at either, maybe they were in his head, no foul. I think it was a foul. Because if like I said, if you call the one on Jonas Hoffman, you have to call the one on Musiala too. You can't do one or the other. And it's a shame. Like I was in our Discord, I was like, if I was Thomas Tuchel, I would go right at the referee after that game.
I mean, the assistant ref did, and that's why I got a red card.
No, I don't mean like physically towards him, but like in after press, and call it out, right? Because we need to, we as a football community need to stop those bullshit penalties. Yeah. I thoroughly believe if a offensive player is inviting that contact and makes no attempt at the ball, and just throwing his body in front of the defender, that's not a penalty.
Yes, but also I think it's another situation where we didn't need to make that challenge. He's going nowhere. Davies should not. 100%. Davies should have just stood up. Just stand up. Mm-hmm. The guy's going nowhere. Let him using the line, right? That's an additional defender for you because they don't want to dribble the ball out. So you push him that way, but that's it. Don't. Yeah. That's a challenge.
No,
we
don't 100%. Even need to put
ourselves in.
And I'm not saying that. Davies should, like you said, Davies should not have made that attempt on the ball or to get the ball out. But especially us being 2-1 up in the 93rd minute.
Look at where you're at.
You did not need to make that tackle. However, it still should not have been called. And shame on the DFL for letting referees like that. He's the one that gave Upa a red card last year in like the 8th minute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, same guy. But what are you going to do? It's a 2-2 tie.
I think it was overall, like, from if we take out the Bayern and we just look at it from a fan perspective, that was a good game.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
That was a really good game. It had its ups and downs, had everything you wanted.
Yeah.
I love seeing Xavi on the sideline. Love it. Just love it. He's just so calm.
It's going to look a lot better when he's got a Bayern Munich kit on, though.
Hey, man. I wouldn't be upset if that happened, but that would be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be really crazy.
Yeah. So I think I agree from the fans' perspective. It's definitely a good game. Leverkusen, like we said in the beginning, is a real deal. They're a good team, and I think they're going to challenge more than just the Bundesliga.
Oh yeah.
I think they'll get out of the group stage. Hopefully, are they in the group stage?
They're in the Europa League.
Europa League.
Yeah,
they should win that.
I'm pretty sure, because I remember during the game, I was like, I wonder if how they're gonna do in the Champions League, and I looked at their matches.
Yeah,
they're in the Europa League.
Yeah, they should win the Europa League. There's really nobody else in there.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I am excited for Wednesday.
Yes, especially with Man United losing today 3-1.
Brighton's a good team too, but United has put out more statements than they have wins this year. So I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah, what's up with their guy, Anthony?
Oh, it's all of them. Anthony is under investigation for like allegedly assaulting 3 different women. Yeah. Jadon Sancho is now training with outside of the training grounds because Erik ten Hag wanted him to apologize for public comments he made, and Sancho was like, no. So he's not playing. Jesus. So slowly but surely, Manchester United is turning into the circus of the Premier League.
Oh my god, man. It's so funny.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
It's funny because their fans are terrible.
Yeah.
Their fans are the worst.
Did you watch that game? I didn't watch it.
No, I watched Man City versus they just beat someone.
Man City versus West Ham?
Yeah, West Ham. They just beat West Ham 3-1. It was 1-1 in like the 70-something minute.
I want to see.
Bernardo Silva's so good.
I wanted to see how. What is his name? Hoylund.
Rasmus Højlund.
Yeah.
He had 3.6 out of 5 player rating. No, he's not a bad player. He's
probably just getting used to the league and all that stuff too. He's not gonna come in scoring.
I mean, he had a whopping 8 goals in Serie A, so I mean, he's not exactly
it's a more defensive league though.
As soon as Manchester United found out they weren't getting Harry Kane, they panic bought him and spent a lot of money on him.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying he's not going to turn out to be a good player, but he's not quite there yet.
I think
he's fast. He's very good with link up play, and he's very physical. Mm-hmm. And he's tall.
I think he should have done like the Haaland journey, where he went to like maybe not the Premier League right away. He should have went to the Bundesliga, Leipzig or something like that, or something, and then built up his his legend.
I mean, Haaland's skyrocket to Man City isn't like he's good no matter where he is.
I mean, he killed it in Salzburg, killed it in
Dortmund and then he's killing it in City. Broke the Premier League scoring record for a year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He should win the Ballon d'Or. Side comment.
Yeah, he said something about like how what did he say? He was like, I'm 23 and I won like this and that and all that. He was like, I think I have a good chance. And I don't. He won
the Premier League. He won the FA Cup
and the
Champions League. He also won the Premier League Player of the Year. He won the Premier League Young Player of the Year. He broke the goal scoring record. He was the top scorer in the Premier League. And these bum-ass journalists are about to give Messi another Ballon d'Or for his 4-week performance at the World Cup where he scored 5 penalties? 4 penalties?
Messi's getting that fucking Ballon d'Or. He won the World Cup.
It does not matter to me. It doesn't matter
Messi is solidified GOAT status, man.
I agree. I think Messi is the best player to ever live. However, the Ballon d'Or is for an entire year.
You
He
can't
has
say
been
that.
ass at PSG.
You can't.
They got
say
knocked
that.
out of the Champions League.
You remember when Ribery was going to win the Ballon d'Or?
He should have.
But guess what happened? Ronaldo had a good ass game against Sweden or whatever the fuck it was.
That's the point I'm making. You're basing it off of a tournament.
Dude, we're prisoners of the moment. We don't care
No,
about
we're prisoners of journalists who don't watch any other game other than international soccer.
The journalists are prisoners
Football.
of the moment for sure.
Yeah, well, but luckily they're changing the criteria and they've limited who can vote for the Ballon d'Or this year.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be like every country could vote.
Mm-hmm.
They dropped that number down to 100. So now only the top 100 countries in the FIFA coefficient can vote,
Jesus.
which is slightly better. But at the same, I mean, it's just I can't fathom it. Right? Holland had a better year, just all across the board. One more trophies, one more individual accolades, everything like that. Messi finally won a World Cup. I'm not saying that Messi doesn't deserve to be in the conversation for who's going to win the Ballon d'Or, but I don't think you can make a logical argument for why Messi should win it just for having a good World Cup.
Bro, come on, man. It's the story. It's the story. Messi finally won the World Cup.
Well, then Messi should write a children's book. It's not a... You know what I mean? It's not... He won the World Cup. Great. He didn't win the...
act like that's like such a small
He
feat.
did not win the World Cup. Argentina won the World Cup.
Oh, my God.
The Ballon d'Or is an individual trophy.
Argentina's not winning the World Cup without Messi.
No. But this is no different than Portugal. Not going to win a World Cup. They're better without Ronaldo, I think. Honestly.
Yeah, I think so too.
But
I think every team's better without Ronaldo. Now.
Yeah.
Before, it was like, yo, I need this guy on my team. But you know who's not winning a World Cup is daggone Norway. They're never winning.
But that's the thing. Do you penalize Erling Haaland for that? Or do we just say, okay, after every Euro and after every World Cup, whoever did really good in that tournament's going to win it? And then the opposite years, well... Because if this was any other year, this wouldn't be a conversation. Yeah. And that's why I have an issue with it.
Dude, the World Cup is literally the biggest thing you can do.
Sure.
Like, there's nothing higher than that.
I get it.
So why? Like, it's like, all right, if you win the World Cup and you're Messi or Ronaldo, you're winning the Ballon d'Or.
That's what we should be avoiding, because it's not just an award for that 4 weeks. They have an award for that. So yeah, I don't think that you can award the Ballon d'Or for just the World Cup. If Messi had done well in the Champions League, then okay, I can understand that, but they didn't.
No, I mean they didn't. But no one in the world expected PSG to do good, like at all. He's the golden boy, man.
The only people who expected Argentina to do good were the people who rigged it, so he gets all those PKs. I'm just kidding. I don't buy into that either. Oh, but every single one PK that he scored was a foul. But to say that he was the best player because he scored,
Listen, man, Messi is not just a player; he's a feeling. All right, that's what you don't get.
Yeah,
he's a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know the feeling you wake up and it's like you're not tired. You had the perfect amount of sleep. That's Messi.
There's multiple instances of just the Ballon d'Or committee just making the wrong decision. We're talking Wesley Sneijder.
Yes,
should have won in 2010. Ribery should have won in 2013.
Oh, that broke my heart.
Lewandowski should have won in 2020. At what point do we say this is almost as much of a joke as the Golden Boy, where Taylor Swift fans are determining who the winner is, right?
Oh, Swifties.
All the Swifties on Twitter. It's one of those, I don't know.
They're going to come after us now.
Probably. I'm going to get a negative review on this. It's going to drop our stars down to 1. But yeah, so I mean, I'm going back to Manchester United. I'm excited for the game. Specifically, we're going to have a lot of room to play with, and that's what I'm excited for. Yeah,
today, right? I think they played with 4-4-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Nah, they didn't. They played with basically a 4-4-2. Um, 4-3-1-2 basically is the same fucking thing. Mm-hmm. Casemiro, Eriksen, and Fernandez are going to be the problems, in my opinion. But that link up, it depends on what type of day Rashford is going to have.
Yeah.
It depends. Højlund or I can never.
Højlund.
Højlund. I can't.
Yeah, pretty much. You're pretty close.
It's beating my butt.
Just imagine it's like a Norse mythology character, and just like. Yeah.
But yeah, in the midfield, those three are going to be the problem because they're smart.
Yeah. I think Casemiro has taken an incredible step down from his form last year. Mm-hmm. Like he had one good year, and he's not as good as he was last year.
Maybe he's getting restricted more though.
Possibly, but it's just they don't change formations a lot, so.
Because they don't know what works yet.
Well, right, and so, but yeah, I mean, Bruno Fernandes is a creative player, so he's one to look out for. If we let him have too much time on the ball, he's gonna.
Who do we put on Bruno Fernandes, or is it just?
I think we're fine. I think if we'll do Davies on the left back, Upamecano and Kim as the center backs. I think Limer's going to start at right back. Because we put Mazraoui in again against Leverkusen, and he didn't look good. That's 2 games in a row where he's played, and he hasn't looked good. So, and this is the frustrating thing, right? Because, Mazraoui's the right back, but why is a center mid doing it better than you?
What if, though? Like, what if we put Mazraoui in as a right back and put Limer as a center mid, and that way he can nullify Bruno Fernandez's impact on the game? Limer's not going to stop running.
I know, but I don't know if you need to. Mazraoui did not look good, and that's where the sticking point is. If we had Stanisic, I think Stanisic would start at right back, but
I miss him.
We have to put Limer. I think we have to put Limer in right back. Well, yeah, he might have a clause that says he can't, but I don't know.
That's messed up if that's in his.
Well, it's a lot of clubs do that for loans.
Really?
Yeah, you can't play against your parent club.
What? Mm-hmm. I've never heard of that.
Really?
Never.
I mean, that it exists.
That's crazy.
I do it in Football Manager all the time.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
I also had Erling Haaland score 115 goals this year. So.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah. You can. It's something you can put in a loan. I mean, they can put whatever they want in a loan. Like, you know what I mean? We're just used to like you pay X amount of wages.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like,
but there's a lot that goes into it. Like, I would hope that we didn't loan Stanisic out just for him to ride the bench at Leverkusen.
And that's what I'm afraid is going to happen.
Right, but if we agreed with Leverkusen for something else, we could potentially have grounds to recall or cancel a loan, in January and maybe pay a smaller fee or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, I think Limer's going to start at right back, and then I think Kimmich Goretzka will start in the center, and then I hope Matthias Tell starts as left wing, Musiala in the middle, Sane on the right, Harry Kane up top. That'd be my projected lineup for Wednesday. But Tuchel might very well start Gnabry on the left instead of Tell.
I think he should.
Or if Kingsley Coman can play, I would start him over Tell as well. He's number one starter, but and then I'd bring on Muller and Tell around the 60-minute mark if we need to. I would bring in Matthias Tell, Choupo-Moting, and probably maybe not Thomas Muller. I'd really like to see Tell play as a shadow striker behind Harry Kane and have Choupo out on the wings, but I don't know if Choupo has the legs for it. So, but him playing as a shadow striker behind, or essentially a second striker behind Harry Kane also isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think it opens up space for Harry Kane. So
I think that I would like to see, same back four, except I want Limer in the middle. Limer and Goretzka, but it's probably not going to be that way, right? On the left, this is if Coman isn't fit, right? On the left, have Musiala. On the middle, have Choupo. On the right, have Sane. and Kane up top.
Yeah.
I would really like to see that because I think you're right. Chupa behind Kane is going to be great. I think their link-up play is going to be great.
Yeah, and Chupo's ability to hold up the ball is something that we're missing. Like, his ability to be an outlet, and then he holds off a defender, shielding a defender off the ball, so that our wingers can run past him. That's something that we miss. In our game, and that's something that Lewandowski did really well.
And I think that that's what Kane's trying to do by dropping back, but he's having to drop too far back.
Yeah.
But him dropping or him checking to that ball should, in their minds, the wingers, oh cool, there's a big pocket of space that I can run into.
Yeah.
That's what should be happening.
But it's not. Like I said, they're stagnant.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I don't know.
Tottenham do, I wonder.
They won 2-1 in the 112th minute.
Wow, okay.
It was 1-0 Sheffield. Or, shit, who'd they play?
Tottenham played Sheffield United. Yeah, 2-1.
So Sheffield was winning, and then Tottenham equalized in I forgot what minute. It was well into stoppage time. And then they scored the winner in stoppage time as well.
I wonder if they played better without Harry Kane. Since he was their main outlet.
Yeah, I mean, it's Sheffield.
But still, I'm just wondering. They're second place in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like
they haven't played anyone good yet. They haven't played any of the top 5 teams.
Let's see. Tottenham Hotspurs. I bet you they're losing it right now.
One of our own.
They played. Yeah, they've only played Burnley. Fulham was EFL. They did beat United 2-0.
Yeah, I said they haven't played any of the top 5 teams yet.
Your brother's probably pissed.
My brother's actually leaving for Germany tomorrow, day after, something like that. They're going to England first. They're going to United game.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, and then they're going to go to Germany. I was going to go with them, but I can't go to Germany without bringing my wife there first.
You can come visit me.
Yeah, that's sure.
You can come visit me for sure.
Let me know when you get some tickets to the Allianz. I'll be there.
Oh, yeah. Yes. But yeah, predictions for next week.
Against United?
No, not yet. We'll do against... Who do we play next week?
I'm not sure.
I'm about to see.
I just added it to our Discord. So.
Yeah, Bochum.
Oh, I'm hoping that that's a game where Bayern finish their chances the way that we know that they can, and we put 4 or 5 past them.
I'm thinking 5-0.
Yeah, they're an average team.
Yeah,
like that should be a warm up, not a warm up, but that should be a routine win. And I hope we get 5-0 up early because I want to see our younger players. I want to see Tell get more minutes. Yeah. Like if we're up 3 or 4 at halftime, I'd put Tell in for the entire second half. Yeah. I'd probably put Pavlovic, our young center defensive mid. I'd put him at probably the 60-minute mark. Give Kimmich some rest.
I guess it all just depends on how the United game goes because it's a midweek game, and so if United, what's your prediction for that game? I'm thinking 3-1 for us, obviously.
It's the most common. I'm going to go...
Oh, you said that's the most common score.
We do it every week. Yeah. What's your prediction? 3-1.
Well, because if it was Bayern of old, I'm 7-0, baby. It's going, you know what I'm saying? But 3-1 is because we have so many frailties.
Yeah, I think Bayern's going to win 2-0.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And so depending on how that game goes, I think that will determine the amount of playing time Tell gets for the Bochum game on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if Serge Gnabry doesn't do shit again, then I'd put Tell in at half, like I said. Still, I would rather have Tell out there.
The curious case of Serge Gnabry, man.
If he does not improve by winter, I would be sell him.
In the wintertime?
Maybe not in the winter, but definitely the summer.
We need him in the
winter. If we had to sell a player to get another player, bye.
What I want is to get a Brazilian winger. That's what I want.
Why? So we can do rainbows and down the sideline. Come on.
It's not just about the rainbows. No, man, but I want that flair. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want that.
I'll tell you what, we'll sign Douglas Costa on loan.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Man, I wish he would have stayed. That dude was electric. He was electric.
Yeah, the first time he was there.
Yeah, the first time. The second time, I don't know what happened.
He got injured like right away and was out for the entire year.
Jesus. Yeah,
I'd rather have Ivan Perisic, but that's just me.
Yeah, man, I don't get that. That was a dumb decision in my opinion.
To not buy him?
Yeah, to not buy him. He would still be running right now.
Yeah.
I would have had him over.
He's killing it at Tottenham.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things.
So you think 2-0?
Yeah, 2-0 against United, and then 4 or 5-0 against Bochum would be my two predictions. Yeah. So I don't know if anyone on Twitter, right? If you don't follow this podcast, there's a jersey giveaway right now. I have a Bayern Munich jersey giveaway, so shameless plug. But if you follow us and show us a picture that you like the podcast on either Amazon Music, Spotify, or here on the Podbean app, you're automatically entered to win a brand new Bayern jersey.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, man, those Oktoberfest jerseys.
I told you.
Nice.
I've been saying it.
I'm gonna get.
I still have to order mine. I just say this every week.
Yeah. Come on, I'm not gonna believe it until I see it.
Well, my wife just spent $400 on a dress, so I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
now I can treat myself.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to debate on whether I want to pre-order Assassin's Creed Mirage or get a Bayern Munich jersey.
What's that? I thought it was only like $50. Assassin's Creed.
I don't like spending money. Period.
Oh, okay. Well, it comes out in 2 days, right?
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna get it.
I'm gonna get that one. I'm gonna get the like futuristic Spider-Man, Spider-Verse looking one, and then I'm gonna get. I think that's it.
Yeah. I don't know what other jerseys I'm gonna buy this year. I want all of them.
Oh,
so.
I'm gonna buy I'm definitely buying the Inter Miami jersey.
The pink one.
Hell yeah, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, brother.
I saw something on Twitter. It kind of made me laugh.
What?
It was a Cristiano Ronaldo fan account.
Okay.
And it was like most goals in the world's top 10 leagues, and they listed Cristiano Ronaldo in the Saudi league, and I was like, come on, man.
Come on.
So let me ask you this: if Messi scores 30 goals and 15 assists in the MLS, would he be competitive for the Ballon d'Or?
No, because it's the MLS. You gotta think about the level of competition. There's who's that guy? Who's that guy that plays for? He plays in Miami, but he played for Atlanta. Was it like Martinez or something like that?
Yeah, Josef Martinez.
Yeah. That dude's a beast.
Mm-hmm.
But he plays in the MLS.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Did you ever hear Zlatan Ibrahimovic's? He was on like some talk show, and they were talking about him versus Carlos Vela.
Oh yeah.
And the guy in the show asked him, you're doing really well, but what about Carlos Vela? He has X amount of goals and X amount of games, and he's like, where is he playing in his prime?
Exactly.
And he said here, and then Zlatan was like, big difference.
Yeah, there is a big difference.
No, I agree. But what I'm saying is, do you not think that that the world has just this crazy PR spin for Messi?
Dude, look at everything that he's done.
Okay, yeah, I get it, but again, the Ballon d'Or is a year-long thing, so I'm looking at what he did in this year.
Hasn't he already won a cup or something like that for Miami?
I don't care about the MLS.
I'm just saying.
I don't even look up the scores.
No, anytime Messi's playing, I'll watch that.
I don't, because I don't want to pay for Apple TV.
Oh, no, I don't pay, sir. I do not pay.
Yeah, good on you. We definitely don't do anything illegal.
Yeah,
just to clarify.
Just so people are listening.
Yeah. But it's just a question, because I like people are like, oh, look how good Messi is. Like if you watch some of the highlights, it looks like he is playing against a Sunday league.
Yeah,
like he'll be standing at the penalty spot, just waiting for the ball to come across, and there's 5 defenders around him. One's on the near post, one's on the far post, one's at the corner of the 6, the other 6, and then one is at the top of the 18. It's like nobody wants to even mark him.
No.
But the thing is, did you see the average ticket price for the LAFC versus Inter Miami game.
This can be good. How much is it?
The average ticket price was $658.
It's not happening, dude. It's not happening.
What do you mean?
Like I would never.
That's what I know.
I did pay $500 a ticket for Drake concert, but that's Drake. Like, come on. But like, that's the sixth god. All right, let's relax. But I think that there's this guy I was talking to at work. He's a Charlotte FC ticket holder or whatever, season pass or whatever. He said that the ticket prices went up $200.
Yeah,
and I was just like, he's like used to be able to just go there the day of the game and be like, oh yeah, can I get a ticket? And he's like, you have really good seats.
Yeah.
But now he's like, it's damn near impossible.
It's crazy. It's good for MLS.
I guess.
Like as a business model, yeah. Right? But man, it's shitty for the fans.
You gotta pay his wages somehow, man.
Yeah, Apple's paying.
Yeah, but who's paying Apple? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all
the people subscribing to watch. I get it. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's that football should be for everybody. And if you cannot either A, afford to go to a game, or B, afford to have your kid play, then we're doing something that's fundamentally wrong.
Yeah, that's what was happening in England too with the ticket prices too. Their prices were going up and fans were rioting.
Yeah. Here we're like, oh, okay, swipe.
Yeah, man, what? You gotta stand together, man. Jesus.
But yeah, what are your predictions for Man United and Bochum? I know you said 5-0 versus Bochum, but
yeah, so 5-0 for Bochum. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that 3-1.
That's right. I forgot you said that.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with that 3-1. I think that they're going to do enough, but I think Fernandez or Rashford's gonna score. That'd be crazy if that new dude scored from Finland or whatever it is. I'm not even gonna attempt anymore.
Rasmus Højlund. Is he from?
He's from Finland or something like that. He's not from Norway.
Yeah, it's one of them Scandinavian countries.
Yeah. Let me see. Injuries. But yeah, man.
I think he's gonna be a good player eventually. Just not this year.
We gotta give him time. We can't expect him to be freaking. No, he's from Denmark. There we go. One of those countries. But yeah, we can't expect him to come into the league and do Holland. You know what I'm saying? How rare is that?
That's what I mean. Holland has set a record.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got, though. How about you?
Yeah, no, I'm good, man. Hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. Keep listening, and see you next time.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.